Okay, Brad, do you see me now? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Yeah, silent movie, Frank. Still trying to figure this stuff out. I figured since Bob wasn't going on tonight, I'd try to come on, but this is the first time I've ever done this, so who knows how it goes. We'll see. Yeah, Lee talks more. Yeah, he doesn't talk enough on Bob's channel. I guess I need Bob on here in order to have some people talking on here, right? We're taking one step at a time, just trying to get this started out. I dropped a link, I guess, for people to come in if they want to come in, but other than that, I don't know exactly how all this stuff goes. See, there's a few folks here. The difference between watching on YouTube and watching in the StreamYard here. Yeah, baby steps, one step at a time. So I guess I could show you all what one thing I did do this weekend. Let me kind of move this around a little bit. Take you on a tour. I did a little box branding or whatever this weekend. Since it was raining out here, didn't have a lot of time to do anything else. So I branded some boxes. Get out here in my garage here. Show you something I've got going on here was putting my Hail Hives logo on some new boxes that I just got. So I put some boxes in Eco Wood. So I stained some things with Eco Wood here, and then put my brand on the boxes so I can put them together and start setting them up for whatever for the new swarms I've got, the new swarm I have in a box, and the new splits that I have coming out of one hive that are in the Hail Hacienda. I've got 3 hives that I've split out of Old Yeller into the Hail Hacienda or whatever this weekend. And they are coming along nicely. I think it's going to be a couple weeks before they've got a viable queen and be able to put into a box by themselves. But as you see, I've got the boxes ready. So I've got 5 new boxes that I bought at Hive Life back in January, and went ahead and branded those. So those are ready to go and put together. So we'll see what happens or whatever in a couple weeks when those are ready to go into the boxes on their own. They are out there still in the Hail Hives Hacienda or whatever in the backyard. I don't know if you can see, but it's out there in the back, and we will have that ready to go in a couple weeks to put the new hives coming into that. So that's what I've got going on directly. So I've got 5 new boxes. I built about 50 new frames last weekend, and I've got about another 50 frames left a bit. I bought 100 new frames or whatever a couple weeks at Hive Life, and have those ready to build. So I've got those to put together, and we will start getting those put together shortly. So we've got the boxes ready to go and the frames ready to go as we look to expanding. So right now I went from essentially 4 hives to, over the winter, 4 production hives. I lost one last year and now have probably 9, I guess, with between my split and the swarm and the 3 new splits that I have. We're looking at about 9 right now. So I don't know what y'all are looking at right now. We've had rain for the past couple days. I know we talked about that the other night on Sawmill Charlie's channel with Lee, that we've had nothing but about let me see, Thursday it rained Thursday night, Friday it rained all day yesterday, and today it actually was supposed to rain, but ended up being a pretty nice day actually at the end of the day. I got out in the garden and did some weeding and looking to put some new stuff into the garden in the next few days. So that's where we are. I don't know where the rest of you are right now, but it's still kind of quite soggy outside at this moment. The bees were out flying today. 2 days ago, they weren't out at all because of the rain, but they were out flying today and bringing in quite a bit of pollen. So they're still building up. What I'm afraid of is getting into them in a little bit and opening up those boxes and actually having swarm cells in there, that to the point to where I can't handle that. So we'll see what happens there. I think here we got somebody coming in.
There you go.
There's Frank. I'm trying to learn how to do
check.
it. This is my first out of the box on doing this stuff. So
that I remember doing that. It was fun.
We'll see what happens.
I ended up turning it off and putting it in my archives, and so nobody can see it anymore.
Well, I was about to that point till you jumped in.
Well, you can still do it if it really goes sour. One of the things is having a subject to talk about, so you don't have a bunch of empty space. And then
I was just talking about what I've done over the past couple of days or whatever, and
yep,
and my plans for the future. But we'll see what happens. The best laid plans of mice and men, end up turning south or whatever. All it takes is half my bees to go hit the trees or whatever in the next 2 weeks, and then everything you planned on doing was changed, right?
Yep. So how many hives are you playing with right now, or colonies, I guess?
I've got, if I were to say hives, I've probably got 5 hives, colonies 9, because I had a split, and I've got three splits that I've done, and one swarm. So if you add those to the 5 production hives, I'm probably going to have this year, and I'm probably growing another 4 right now.
So no way that you can go to nothing because that's like almost impossible, right?
Yeah. Well, you never know. The weather here is turning nice. I mean, we're starting to get to the point where we're putting plants in the ground, and uh, I've got tomatoes out there. I've got peppers out there. I've got cucumbers out there, all ready to go into the ground. Was out there working on some of that stuff today, pulling weeds and getting the beds prepped, ready to go. I know
You
you're a little further north, so it's a little colder up there.
you started all this stuff inside?
I started them in seeds outside.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you.
I guess your weather is warm enough you can do that.
Oh, it is. It is hot. I mean, we've had days almost 90 degrees here.
We just had 180-degree day for the first time 2 days ago, and it's gone. Now we're in the 60s and 50s.
Yeah, I don't know if you watch Greg Burns' channel or whatever that he does, but he and his wife are doing this cheap seed challenge. So I've got some propagation trays, 168 cell propagation trays that I've got filled up. The cheap seed challenge was to go out to the Dollar Tree or whatever and buy their 4 for $1 or 10 for $1 or whatever seeds that you could buy out there, and to put them out there and see who could grow the best seeds out of the cheap seeds that you get at the Dollar Tree store. So
I guess theoretically you could start your seeds indoor in January.
yes, you can. And actually, I started some seed. I had some peppers and some tomatoes that I had started and had some really nice plants. We don't really go down below freezing very much here in Louisiana often. So, but we went down to 18 degrees, and I pulled them out from outside into the carport, but that wasn't enough to protect them. I was trying to keep the frost off of them, but that wasn't enough to protect them on a couple nights of, I don't think we went above freezing for 2 days.
So you got to be
So
on the watch if you do that kind of stuff.
yeah, yeah, you can't leave them alone by themselves. That's for sure.
So then, if you extended your season, I guess you could get what, like 12 months or something out of your season, or 10 maybe.
We can do real well, and even actually the cilantro and some of those winter vegetables, have a hard time. They go to seed, the pak choy and the spinach and stuff like that. If you don't care, they'll bolt really fast, because our problem is our spring has 80 degrees one week, and then 40 degrees the next week, and then 80 degrees the next week, and 40 degrees the next week, and it's really hard to moderate that. So
Yeah, so like maybe a greenhouse covering that you can open and close real easy.
yeah, if I had that, I was thinking of building one of those little PVC hoop things
Yep.
over them in order to try
Set it
to
aside, put it back when you need it.
yeah.
That way they don't get all strangly and yeah.
Of course, I haven't been able to trust the weatherman around here to say, "Hey, take that hoop thing off for the next week," and as soon as I take it off, then we'll have a day at 32 degrees, and boom.
You're running home from work, and I've been there.
Yeah, you can't trust the weatherman.
We've had some bad calls already. I'm looking to see if you have any comments going on here.
There's a few things coming in from I see Lee down there and Bob down there, Loma Vista,
Cajun says hi.
DC, Cajuns out there.
Walker says
Brad
hi.
Brad don't ever come on unless Dirt Rooster's around.
If you give away some tools or something, maybe he'll come on.
Yeah, so I figured Bob wasn't on tonight, so I figured I started clicking around on a few things. I said, well, let me see if I'll go on and see if what happens here. So this is my first time ever trying to do things, and so I'm in uncharted waters here.
Yeah, so you're doing StreamYard, I guess. And so did you see all those little settings on the side where you get to choose all your the shape of the Galloway lights and the hail hives? You can change the colors and
Right now, I'm just I see a bunch of boxes at the bottom that says, "Hey, I can put you and me high, you and me low, you how we go thing." I don't know how this works, but good night.
that's the stuff you need to be doing right now. It's just trying to get your feel for it. The only thing I don't like is you hit the wrong thing and it's all gone, and you're
Yeah,
like, "Whoa!"
the next thing I know, both of us are off of here, and it's time to go to
Yes,
bed, right?
yes, yes. That's the part I can't understand. It's like so easy to mess things up.
Yeah, I
And then
figured
have you figured out how to take some of these comments and flash them on the screen yet?
I have not.
You're supposed to get it, it'll grab them and there you
Oh,
go.
there you go. I guess you just highlight one.
Yeah,
Of course, I don't know how to get it off now. Oh, there you go. Okay,
that's what you
so
got to be doing. That's what this is
okay,
all
there we
about.
go. How about that?
See, now you're gonna get it.
There you go. Bob says I got to get up early tomorrow. It's got
So
Newt
Bob's
leaving.
working again, huh?
I don't know. Sometimes you see him in a shirt. Sometimes you don't. You never know he's working. But then halfway in the middle of the day, he's out there doing lives. I don't know how many jobs you got out there that can let you do live broadcasts in the middle of the day. What kind of job is that, Bob?
That's I guess the sales, the upper class, job where you just pick and choose what you want to do. Let,
I guess
let
I
the
give Bob a
peons do
hard.
the work, right?
I give Bob a hard time all the time, but he reciprocates too. So
Yeah.
it's all a little give and take.
I like it when he's on live and he's doing the work while he's there. He's packaging, he's doing the filling and stuff, and he's doing the live at the same time.
Yeah. So what you got going on this weekend, Frank?
I've been playing with my truck periodically. I'm still playing with the transmission. I don't know if you saw that a couple weeks ago. I was trying to get it out. I did on one of the lives just because Bob went on, and I said, you know what, I'm in the middle of the project, but I could at least watch this while I'm, doing this. And so I tried that. But everything I go to do, it's something else. I ended up finding out that the oil pan was leaking, so now it turned it into another project. How to get that out. But then every time I walk by the bees, I'm distracted by them, and I added like 5 frames on the top of them, a single deep, and because they seemed like they had that 8 frames of bees on there, and I thought, well, they're getting big. But after talking to Charlie, he says to try and keep them full, and so that they don't lose their momentum. So I thought, well, maybe what I'll do is I'll put 5 frames on top in a deep and a pillow on the side, and so it's not the full box. And so I went back 2 weeks later, and it looks like they're filling it out. So there's a lot more bees in there. It's like it looks like they want the rest of the box. So I'm like, I don't know if it's helpful or if it was just the weather, but uh, it seems like they're growing quite big, and they have several frames that are full of brood from one edge to the other, and it's only like several, like 2 or 3 of them, and then the rest are all like their support, I guess. But
Yeah.
very interesting. I'm not experienced on this a lot. This is like my 3rd or 4th year now.
Yep.
So when I see something like that, I'm like, wow, I've never seen that before. Normally it's just like you're starting out and you're trying to feed them sugar water, and it's your first colony, and they just came in a package, and this will be the time of like just getting started, not like already started kind of feeling. This is my 2nd year of actually having bees already established, and like, where do we go from here kind of feel.
Well, I caught a swarm. I set out a box at the edge of my property because I said I got 2 at both edges of the property. I said, well, if they swarm, I'd like to try to at least catch my own bees, right? So I put I built a couple queen castles with 3 different columns, and then they've got their own, what do you call them, Snellgrove boards or whatever on the bottom that I kind of screwed into the bottom. So I put those out there as swarm catchers if I did, and put 5 frames in each of them. Well, this year for the first time, I caught my first swarm in one of them. Put some lemongrass oil and stuff like that in them, and I caught my first swarm in one of them. But since I had the 5 frames in there, where do they go to start laying new comb? To the left of the frames, and they started putting frames on the lid down into the empty space in there instead of using the frames that I put in there for them. I had one frame. I guess they're laying a little bit in the cell in the excuse me, the comb that I put in there, but the other one were just foundations for them to build on. But they're not building on the foundation; they're putting comb or whatever in the empty space. So last week I kind of squished that all to one side and put them a few more frames in there to hopefully they'll start building in that area.
I noticed that even with my 5, they tend to have the spot right next to the pillow. There's a little hollow, and that's where they did the wonky stuff. Yeah, like you said, if they have the freedom, I guess they like the freedom to just do whatever they want.
Yeah, see what Lee says here. He goes, my he's just across the Amite River from me. So last year I lost about 3 swarms, and he says he'll take care of catching my bees for me.
Lee's doing a good job. I saw him in his hives a couple times already, and normally he's like working so much he never gets in.
I'm sure he'll return them to me after he catches them too, right?
Yeah.
They're good bees. I got to tell you, Lee, you're getting some prime stuff, buddy. But I'm trying to keep the other stuff from swarming too. I've got one hive that's just going gangbusters right now, and am I going to be able to keep them in the boxes or instead of hitting the trees? That's what I'm worried about them.
Did you see Lee DC's all his projects going on with his layout of his yard for the anti beetles coming out of the ground? And
Oh, I did not. I guess I
oh
need to
my
take a look at
goodness,
that.
yeah,
So what he's got going on?
yeah, he's got all the little the vapor barrier on the bottom with the hives. It's all stands all ready to go. And
Okay.
all it almost looks like the Lee yard, all perfectly spaced and all neat and organized.
Well, I'm looking to get the lead. I've got some bags of mulch that I need to put down. I need to put down kind of the same thing, a weed barrier cloth across the whole bottom, and then put some mulch in there, and actually look like a nice little place out here. But Lee's got all the tools. Lee's got all the money. He's
Yep.
got one of those. He's got one of those crane operator jobs, so he's got plenty of money to put into that. I'll joke with him. He'll comment about that, I'm sure.
So, Hale, you don't try and stop your swarms from the start?
Well, that's what I've done. I bought that new horizontal hive from Ricky Rourke or whatever this past year up at Hive Life. So I've got 6 new compartments in it, and I've taken frames of brood and frames of food and frames out of that and put it into that new and then put in 2 frames of foundation too into 5 little cells or whatever of that horizontal hive, and there's 6 times 5 that go into that horizontal hive. So yes, I'm trying to utilize that this year to knock back the swarming tendency as I pull some stuff and give them more room in the ones that I have.
So, are you running out of room in the horizontal? Is that the?
I've got 3 out of 6 of them full. I was joking the other night. I said, I haven't been able to get into them. I didn't get into them today. I may be able to get into them tomorrow. And if I end up pulling some more frames out, I'm going to put a little no vacancy sign on the Hale Hacienda, that it's full. I was joking on Bob's channel, Bob and Lee's, the other night on Tuesday, that said, hey, I'll put a no vacancy sign out there once I get it full.
I wonder if you could do that double screen type idea with a divider, so you have a recombine issue if you ever have one that the queen doesn't quite make out.
So I've built some boxes, and I've got some boxes here, and I've got some frames, and I have 1, 2, 3, I think four double screen boards that I built last year. I built them like the Snell Groves with the little, north, south, east, west, or whatever entrances on them. So I can put those in there. So I've got another hive that's coming along, but it's really kind of my pissy hive. Really, I really don't want to, propagate those genetics or whatever in mine, because it's the one that kind of gets a little hot and stings me every once in a while. So I've got another one that's my original. It's called Alpha. It was the first one, and everything else has come from Alpha so far. And so I've got. I'm thinking of go ahead and splitting that. And if it's coming along nicely, I'll probably put one of those double screen bottom boards and then trying to put some another split up on top of it.
Yep. Yeah, I did a split, but I just threw it to the side. I found out that when I was taking my video that I just my nerves are hitting me. I couldn't focus on taking the video and thinking what the heck I'm doing at the
Yeah.
same time. And I says, you know what? I can't find a queen. I'm just taking 5 frames, sticking it over here, and see what happens. And lo and behold, I checked it today, and they got one cell they're starting to draw out. So I guess it's the one that's queenless, and I guess it worked. But I'm always like worried. Did I squish the queen? Did I? It's like because you're taking video and you're focusing on that and trying to make it like not dead spots in your video. And in the meantime, I can't think. I can't even see half the time because the camera's in the way. The sun's at the wrong angle, and I usually have to look at the footage afterwards to see what in the world I was actually looking at.
So about 4 weeks ago, in the first 5 frames or whatever of that horizontal hive, I actually took and kind of did a walkaway split. I just grabbed some flames out of one and stuck it in there. And then 2 weeks ago, I looked back in there and there's a queen in there. They raised a queen, a little stubby thing, and she's laying eggs. So
That
we're
was 5
good.
weeks ago. Wow.
Yeah. And then so 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, I think 2 weeks ago, I've taken some other frames out of that same hive that they had swarm cells already starting to form in the bottom. And I took 2 sets of the one frame with swarm cells, a frame of brood, a frame of food, 2 empties, times 2. I did that. There was another frame of with a swarm cell, a frame of food, a frame of brood, 2 empties, and stuck it in there. And I haven't checked back on those to see where they are right now. I'm going to give them another week, or maybe I'll take a peek at them tomorrow because I can't wait.
So you're saying you knocked them down 3 times now, and they're still going gun ho.
They are. This one last year, I think swarmed actually twice on me, and then
Wow.
another frame, then another 2 of them swarmed once. So out of four hives, I actually had 4 swarms, 2 out of one and 2 out of each of the other ones.
Sounds like Louisiana is the place where you start selling bees
They,
by the
they
pound,
just
and because you're just trying to get rid of your resources and just try and knock them down until you're ready for them, I guess.
I'll tell you what, February around here, if you're not ready in February, your bees are going to hit the trees. It's just like getting your seeds ready and your plants ready for the garden. You better be on top of your bees too, and this year we're about probably, I'd say 2 weeks early as far as normal. And yeah, they're out there. They're little brood factories right now. And like I said, they're already starting some swarm cells and stuff like that. So I've already got last week I started putting queen excluders and honey supers on top of 3 out of the 4 of them right now because they're going so fast.
So you think they're actually bringing in nectar and stuff now?
Well, they are. I looked in them again, and they're starting to put some stuff in there. Now we kind of have a bicyclic or almost tricyclic or whatever nectar flow. We get a little bit with the privet and stuff coming in at the end, and then we get a huge um, tallow flow, and then the fall stuff comes in with the fall flow coming in at the end, and
So you
yeah,
could do the pull the frames, put the frames, pull the frames, and try and catch the different flows. Take them on, take them off, take them on.
you could
If
the
you had the
privet
drawn
flow,
comb,
like Lee says down there, privet flow starting pretty good. It is pretty good right now. We get what's that thistle? The purple thistle comes out pretty good, and that's actually a pretty good nectar source too. The goldenrod or whatever in the fall comes in, but the biggest one is the tallow, and we've got that from about um, mid May mid May through the mid June, beginning of May. Sometimes I think we may see it by the end of this month this year. I don't know because we're kind of a little early, so I want to make sure that I've got boxes on top to catch it when it does come.
yeah. If I had your yard, I'd be keeping my full frames of drawn comb ready to just pull in, pull out, and just see if I can wear them down that way and keep them from swarming. Maybe.
Yeah, the funny thing is, last year, I don't know if it was the privet or whatever, but last year my honey crystallized a lot worse than it ever has before. So I mean, we took some honey at the beginning of the season, and then took a bunch later, after Fourth of July. Emptied everything else out. Usually the fall flow, I just leave it on the hives for the bees. But Fourth of July, we picked everything out. But the stuff we took early, maybe it was the privet, maybe I don't know what else would it they came from, but it seemed to crystallize a lot more quickly than we have seen in the past.
Did you do a moisture on it?
Oh yeah, it was probably about 16 and a half when we first got
Oh
it.
yeah.
The stuff that we got at the end of the year, the because we had such a wet June. I mean, we just had rain all through June. There was one weekend where I was saying I should pull honey, and I didn't because it had been dry for a whole week, and then we had nothing but rain for the next 3 or 4 weeks. And then I ended up pulling after Fourth of July, and I ended up having stuff that was 17 and a half, pushing 18, when I was pulling stuff out, and I was really worried about, the moisture of it, and is it going to ferment or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's 16. I'd be wondering, it was like syrup. You could barely pour, I guess.
It was pretty thick,
Yeah.
but it was lighter too. It's kind of light, but it was thick. And then after we had bottled it and it set up for about 8 weeks, it was starting to solidify in the bottom.
Now it turned like a white pail that you can barely see through.
Oh, I've got stuff now that's in glass containers that is solid as a rock.
I mean, it has like an opaque almost color to it, or
Yes. Yeah.
and you can scoop it with a spoon and it sticks on there like
Yeah, I
almost
guess I
like
could sell it as creamed honey, right? Or chunk
yeah,
honey.
yes, yes.
Yeah, it's more
I
kind. It's
had
more.
one of my jars did that. I don't know if it's because I reuse it. One of my jars reuse, and I stored mine in a container, a bigger container, and as it empties, I pour it in there. And that one jar did solidify, but all the ones that I put in clean, fresh, new bottles never did that. So it's interesting when they say you need like the starter crystals, and it takes off.
So you made your own cream honey this year?
No, I just have one bottle jar that I tend to reuse the bottle each time it gets empty. I just add some honey from a master container, and that one container did go crystal on me. So I guess I
Yeah.
had some crystals in there, and it just went crazy. Yes.
Here's some, and you can see it's kind of got a little bit in the bottom turning white. Other stuff is clear all the way to the bottom.
But that's not crystallized then, right?
Not crystallized at all.
Yep.
This one's not crystallized at all. But then,
And that's all from the same batch, right?
let me show you how my wife moved it. So she's telling me where it is. Turn this in here. And so, let's see. I guess, where is it? On the desk. Okay, hold on just a second. So, let me turn this on here.
Light killed it. Oh, there you go.
You can see this is still light at the bottom,
Yes.
but it's starting to get a little crystalline at the bottom. This one here.
Hold it on the camera side so the light shines through.
Let me see if I can.
There you go. Hold it right in front of the light. There you go.
This one here is solid all the way through. I mean, it's very opaque all the way through this place here. So it's crystallizing all the way through. Let me block
So
that
if
so the light does.
you turn that sideways, it won't even go up to the top, will it? It won't move.
This one here, you can see the light through it until you get to the bottom quarter. But then all up here, oh, this is liquid. This is solid.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so a lot of the stuff we had this year was crystallized a lot quicker, and then we put stuff in bottles. And
Now that was all the same batch?
actually, that was two different batches. I guess we got to the stuff at the end, and that was part of the stuff that I did this year for, with the Hive Life conference. And I took some, oops, I took some honey up there to give away to the speakers that were there at Hive Life. And so I made some what I called single hive select, Hail Hive single hive select, and put them in like bourbon bottles, and took them up there to give away to the speakers up there. And some of that is solidifying. And then I made some stuff that I put in wine bottles and gave away to a bunch of, I think, Bob and Lee and then the stream team guys, and gave them all a bottle of that while I was up there this year.
You think it was the privet that did it?
I think a lot of the privet, but the stuff that I took out of my Charlie hive is what I use mostly for the single hive select stuff. So it was a single hive. It was a mixture of all of it. But so I did not pull the privet early in the year. I just took everything out when I ended up extracting that whole hive at one time. I don't know. It was a little different experience than I have had before. The I've taken fall honey before too, and it's a little stronger. I know Lee says he likes that goldenrod honey. It's a little bit stronger, but it to me seems to be a little more less viscous and a little more moisture to it. Maybe it's just because of that time of the year when you're pulling it, but it ends up having the tendency to ferment on me a little quicker. But Lee
Even if
probably
you're
likes that because he's making mead out of it too.
even at 17%?
Yeah, it was probably 17 to 18%. Just got to be a little careful. You got to be careful down here in Louisiana because there's not a lot of days that aren't you know, above 80% humidity all the time. So,
That's amazing they can even dry it in that weather.
yeah. That's why we try to get a good several weekdays in a row without rain, and then that's the time to pull.
Do you have to worry about your water stations a lot? I guess not, huh?
No, I've got actually what I've done is taken a flower planter and stuck it out there on a pedestal. It used to be a bird bath, that the bird bath broke. So I got the pedestal, I've got a big flower planter, and I've taken two foundations, plastic foundations, and put them in there at an angle and filled it up with water so they can just walk down in there and get water whenever they want.
That's an idea. Yeah, I noticed I did a sample of mine. They tended like the metal. I have one that was like a rubber pan, and they don't really go in there as much as they're going in a rusty metal container.
Yeah. Well, I had some stuff out there before, but the dead leaves would fall off the trees and get in there and just fill it up. And I guess it really does too still. But
And it doesn't sag when it's plastic.
and those things work pretty well as far as giving them something to stand on and giving them something to walk down. And
Yes.
they can easily get into the water without drowning. I've seen a lot of the people put a bird bath with some stones in the bottom of it, and then water in the bottom to where they can get down and walk in. Either way works really well. But I've got a neighbor behind me, probably, you know, three or four houses over, two houses over, I guess, that has a swimming pool, and my whole thing is to try to keep them out of their swimming pool.
Looks like Llama Bees is trying to go get a new air hose from Harbor Freights.
I haven't seen. I haven't really been looking. I got some goldenrod that's crystallized.
I guess Llama was putting frames together and his staples weren't going in all the way. This is the only part about the doing a live that I don't enjoy is trying to do the comments and the talking at the same time because I can't read
Yeah,
and talk at the same time.
yeah. You try
You
to
know,
read what people.
yeah, it's like I can't think of two things at once. I don't know how Lee and them do that, but
Well, I think Bob does most of the talking while Lee's reading, and then Lee's the one that puts some stuff up here. So Lee's saying, "Hey, I've got some of Hail High special honey," so he's able to keep stuff going up on the side there. So
do the back behind the scenes.
he's the engineer in the back.
There you go.
So here's Lisa saying, "What? Hey, Lisa, good night." So I just figured I'd take a peek out tonight and saw that, I figured, yeah, surely a Saturday night with nothing else going on, surely Bob's on, and Bob wasn't even here. So, I saw earlier Bob said he's had something else to do and had to get up early in the morning. So I guess he wasn't getting on tonight. But
Yeah, you got to seize the opportunity when you can. You got the whole world now at your hands.
I'm like, well, this isn't gonna be a weekly thing. I can guarantee you that. I don't have the time or the patience for that, and I don't have Lee in the background being a engineer to take care of all the logistics or whatever that goes along with this thing.
At least your signal's not fading in and out to add to drama.
Yeah, Greg Burns or whatever. We look at the stream team, and he's got internet, I guess, way out there in the middle of the boonies or something, and his tends up getting a little choppy here and there. They
That's what
just
I
dug new fiber optic in front of my front yard or whatever here, but they haven't contacted me about signing up for it yet.
That's what I tried out in the yard. I wanted to do a live, but then my cell signal is no good. Fades in and out, and it just destroys the whole mood.
Yeah.
You
Well,
almost need a Wi-Fi out there just in order to stay alive.
yeah, it doesn't stop Bob at all. I mean, he's out there walking all around his yard, cutting in and out the whole time. In the middle of the day, 12 o'clock, 12:30 in the afternoon, he's out there seeing what's going on with my bees, and all.
Yeah, I always thought that it would be cool if we all had our own lives in the yard and we can all share. We're all out in the yard doing our thing, and look, here's mine. There's mine. This is yours, and it's like compare
Yeah,
notes.
yeah, I'm sitting at work and I got little dings that Bob's going live again. My cell phone goes off. Ding! Bob's got a live going on right now.
I watched some recyclers. They recycle scrap metal, and they'll have
Yeah.
five of them all on the same, all on the same screen at the same time. They're all doing their tearing apart. Yeah, I'm doing computer disks, and oh yeah, I'm doing hard drives, or I'm doing air conditioners, and they're all doing their thing, talking at the same time, talking about whatever. And if people could do that, that'd be fun. We're all out in the yard pulling our frames. Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, everybody could sit there and compare. Of course, one of
Exactly.
the ones I watched today, I don't know if you saw Bruce's latest one about where he pretty much spray painted his queen all red.
Oh, is that what it is? I saw the preview, but I didn't watch it.
Yeah, he has his pen evidently leaked while he was trying to mark her, and he got it all over thorax,
Oh,
all over wings, all over abdomen, the whole 9 yards. And I said, okay, yeah,
oh, yeah. I found that you gotta dip it on the side and get it just right, and then just do it, and then nerve wracking.
well, I found if they've already flown, why not paint their wings too? That makes them a lot easier to see, right?
Yeah, the first queen I marked, I got him in that little yellow cup thing, and in the process of releasing her and doing the video at the same time, making sure she's in the frame, I opened the hatch and deheaded her
Oh, really? Well,
on camera. Yeah.
I've got one of those little plunger things, too, to where you're supposed to put them in there and do that. And that plunger falls out, or if you push it too hard, you're going to make mincemeat out of her pretty quick and push her through like a French fry through a cutter, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't
Maybe
really
in
touch
between
that
the
thing.
fingers is the best way, I guess. I don't know. I'm still a little nervous, but
I think the best thing to do is to grab them by their wings if you can, and then catch them and mark them. But my experience is very limited on that. Yeah, I need to do some more practice with drones.
yes. And the hard part is doing that on camera at the same time, getting the sun in right angle, and forget that.
You know, trying to get things on camera and working the bees at the same time. That's why I don't have a lot of videos up there. You know,
Yeah.
you got to get two things set up to go at the same time, and that's and my videographer, you know, she gets chased around by the bees a lot. And last time, you could hear her screaming in the background, "Whoop! I got one!" You know, chasing me. So, but she does a good job. I need to get her out there with me more often and take a few more videos.
Yeah, I do the videos more for my own notes, so I can see from past years, trying to learn from my own mistakes, see how what worked and what didn't.
Yeah.
Because writing things down, it's kind of hard to try and all the details that you don't put in words that you miss. You know, it's like, oh yeah, that was the sixth frame in. I didn't even like who writes all this data down. You know, it'd be a book
Yes.
by the time you write it down, and you don't know what you really need. Like, oh, it was because I had an insulated hive, and I didn't realize that that was the difference that made why it was sweating on the outside, or maybe why the boxes are rotting prematurely compared to other years, or um,
Yeah.
all
So
the things.
at least saying over here you need to use a tripod or whatever, and Lair Moore saying, "Hey, I'm a one man show, so you got to use that to work it all out to your advantage, I guess."
Yep.
I don't have a GoPro or anything. I've got a little just my use my phone right now to take things, or we've used an iPad before, which does really well. But then trying to edit them and stick them on and do all that, I'm not big into the YouTube, trying to be this elite YouTube guy. I'm just trying to show a few things about what I'm doing, and whether I put it out there for everybody else, that's what I'm trying to do here and there. But trying to show what I'm doing, but you know, you know, some other people are out there trying to get monetized and stuff like that. I could care less about that issue.
Yeah, I found out the cheap way for me was the old cell phones that don't work anymore, the cracked screens and stuff. Use
Yeah,
them as cameras. You don't really
really.
care whether they can't see the screen, but at least they take a picture, and then you can do multiple cameras, and you don't have to buy a bunch of cameras.
Yeah. Well, I just traded in my Samsung Galaxy S3 about 3 months ago for a Galaxy S22. So I kind of moved up into the new age, but I still have a Galaxy S5 too. So maybe that's a good idea, is to take that old old cell phone and utilize it mainly as a Hive camera.
Yeah, a static camera.
Yeah.
The 5 I just got ounced by Verizon over here a couple weeks ago. They just dropped me. They said I couldn't connect because there's something that they outmoded, and now my phone, because of that, can't work. So that's why I went to the S22.
Yeah. The S5 will still work fine for me.
Yeah, I just
Did
couldn't talk
everything
on the phone.
did everything I wanted it to do, but I guess there's that built-in obsolescence, right?
Yeah, just couldn't use it as a phone to call people. I could text, I could email, I could go on the internet, but the phone part would not work.
Yeah.
Now, the 22, have you noticed that the battery only lasts half the day?
Well, I'm not a super huge user, so mine actually lasts a couple days for me before I got to charge it.
You're not watching YouTube 24/7, huh?
No, I'm not. Just when Bob goes, ding, hey, here's Bob.
Yeah, I've found
No,
it. If I could listen to some of these in the background while you're working, it's kind of, rather than listen to the radio, it's less politics.
yeah, I actually come home and watch, like right now I'm on uh, Apple. What is it called? I guess it's their little laptop version that I've had for about 2 years, and it works really well. I've got a Amazon Fire tablet or whatever, little cheap Amazon Fire tablet. That thing works really well. Got an old iPad, but I typically don't watch a lot of that on my cell phone unless I'm traveling in the car sometimes when I'm coming home late from work and it's already 7 o'clock and Bob and Lee are already on or Grayson's already on or the stream team's already on. I'll click it up. I won't watch it. I'll listen to it through my car stereo or whatever on the way home.
Yeah, it's cool.
I like that S22. It does more things than I'll ever need to use or know how to use. But I like a phone. I like a cell phone that makes cell phone calls. That's what
Yeah.
that's what I want it for mostly. But it's become my calendar, my daily reminder, and all that kind of stuff too.
The thing about the pictures I noticed is now when you try and send them, they're too big because they're actually mini videos.
It takes great pictures. I can't lie. It takes great.
Yeah,
It's got
if you look
three
at them,
cameras on the back.
they're actually small video clips. And if you go and edit, you can pick where you can actually see the flash come on, go off, and fade, and you can pick exactly which picture you want in that sequence.
Oh, really?
And it has the time stamp and the location stamp. There's all kinds of other data that goes with it. So the files are huge.
Yeah. That's so Uncle Sam. So the government can know where you are every step of the day, right?
Well, it also uses up that data because your phone now has twice as much data space, but it goes faster. And I was like, why is this happening? I should have all this extra room. And I found out that it's just huger files.
Yeah. Well, I've taken a few videos with it, out in the B yard too, and it does well. You can swap. The nice thing is it's got at least a decent front facing camera now to where you can take pictures of you and then swap it back around and take pictures of what you're seeing and then come back and take pictures of you, and the video comes out pretty nice rather than they used to have a very poor front facing camera and the back camera was good.
Have you tried your slow motion yet?
No, I haven't.
And you're going to video, go to the extra, whatever the pro or whatever, there's a little slide on the bottom and you slide over, it says picture or photo, video, and then it has extras or whatever. You go to those and it's hit the slow motion and they're super slow and it's regular slow. You'll be addicted. You'll take in these little frames and watching the bees.
Well, I've seen other people who have, Fred Dunn, I guess Brian at Castle Hives on some of his intro videos and stuff like that. He's got some slow motion video. I've wanted to go out and take some slow motion video of mine too.
Well, you have the capabilities now.
Yeah, I've got more, like I said, I got more capabilities than I even know what to shake a stick at for sure. Got several things I need to learn how to use.
And the next thing you could probably do is use your Galaxy 5 as a live streaming. You put that out in your yard and maybe throw it in a box somewhere and just watch them 24/7.
So I can watch them swarm, so I knew exactly when they took off. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Well, I thought I'd come on here and just see what was happening, give this a try. This, like I said, this is my first time here. I don't want to sit there and drag this out too long since I hope everybody out here, I see there's 10 people watching on here. So glad we got everybody out for a little bit, and we'll go ahead and say good night to everybody and hope you all have a great, happy Easter tomorrow. And we'll try to do this.
First hive, first live.
We'll try to do this again sometime. Thanks, Frank, for coming on, and you all have a good night.
Great job. Thanks.
All right. Good night. Bye-bye.